Morning, guys. So I was actually just driving to go grab some coffees and stuff, and I thought of a lot of the things that me and all the other guys used to do to hustle and get money, because we never had any, because it was always going to drugs. And I was just sitting there and I was like, wow, man, you know, it's crazy how much effort you put in trying to get drugs. If you put that much effort into trying to be successful, you'd have whatever you wanted in life. You know, like the amount of effort I put in on a daily basis, whether I was dope sick or not, to get money, to get drugs, was crazy. You know, and a couple of the hustles that automatically popped into my head was, one of the first ones was food stamps. So your food stamps, you'd get it on a certain day of every month. On a certain day you'd get your food stamps, okay? And then there was a couple places in the area that you could bring that food stamp card, and they would give you half price. So you could go into the store, they would give you, say you had $200 in food stamps, they'd give you 100 flat, 100 cash, and they would take the $200 in food stamps, because it was going to them. They were getting the whole 200. You know, it in turn turned money for them, so they didn't care. So that was one of them. There was also another place that used to give you a little bit more. He used to give you 120 on 200. And that's how he was getting everybody to go to his store. And that was a regular thing. We did that all the time. Every time the food stamps would come, that was the first thing. We were waiting for the food stamps so we could go down to the store and cash them in. It's nuts. Another thing we used to do was steal steaks and shrimp. Steaks and shrimp was a big seller. I come from a Portuguese community, and we would go steal the steaks and the shrimp, and we'd bring them around the bars. We'd go into the bars and we sell them. Somebody always wanted steak and shrimp, especially half price. Expiration dates were on it, so they knew that it was brand new, it wasn't old, and they were all over it. You know, that was another hustle that drug addicts were doing. Another one was razors. Okay, so when those Venus and Gillette Mach 3s and all them razors came out, those disposable heads on top were very expensive. So you'd go in there and you'd just take all the heads and then go sell the heads at the bars, or the drug dealers, or whoever wanted them, you know what I mean? So that was another hustle, was the razors. And over time they started locking them up, because that was just what everybody was doing. They were taking the razors and they were selling them. They were stealing them and selling them. So that's why when you go to CVS, or you go to Walmart, or you go to Walgreens, they're all locked up. You need to have the key to get them unlocked. Another one was video games. Video games was big, because GameStop would give you money for them. So you'd go all over to Walmart, and I got arrested for this. Absolutely insane. Such a stupid thing to do. But like, when you're in active addiction, you think that it's okay. You justify the actions. You justify being like, oh yeah, well, I'm dope sick. And, I mean, they're a big company. They're not going to really, it's not going to hurt them. You know, but in all actuality, it hurts everybody. So how we used to do was, we'd have somebody that worked there. I forget who worked there, but we ended up getting the key. We had the key for all the video games. What we would do, we'd go in there, we'd pop open the sliding glass door, and we'd just load our pockets with all sorts of video games. Then we would bring them to GameStop and we would sell them. We'd get the money and we would go get drugs. You know, and that only lasted for so long before I got arrested for it. Another one was baby formula. Baby formula was another thing that most of the stores would buy off you. Okay, so if you brought baby formula into a couple of the places, they would give you half price or 60%. So you go out and take 15 cases of formula, you're gonna have a decent amount of money. And I look back on it now like, what the fuck, man? I try to think of myself as a decent person. Well, today I know that I'm an awesome person, but the stuff that I did to get drugs was just crazy. It was just crazy. Like I don't know. It's just nuts. Absolutely insane. The things that go through your head when you need drugs. Okay, I'm trying to think of a couple more hustles that we had. I mean, other than the normal ones of going to the pawn shop and bringing everything that you got, they give you money for it at the pawn shops. Jewelry, they give you money for jewelry. That's one thing I can say I never did, was break into people's houses. I mean, I had morals for the most part, and I don't know what I should say about this. I feel like maybe I didn't have enough balls to do it, because I feel like the drugs would, if I needed drugs bad enough, I think that I probably would have ran into someone's house. But every time it came down to it, I just couldn't do it. And I guess that's like part of me saying, like, you shouldn't be doing that, kid. No matter how strung out you are, you shouldn't be going to people's houses, because that's not okay. So that's one thing that I never did, was going to people's houses. But another thing was stemming change outside of stores. Asking for money. Like, that's panhandling. That's considered panhandling, and that's how I did it. Some people use signs. But I felt like using a sign, I felt like a bum. I felt like a loser. The crazy part about it is that I was a loser regardless. You know what I mean? I was doing crazy stuff regardless. And I'm looking down on other people, and I'm doing the same thing, just in a different form. So now when I see these guys out there with the signs and everything, I try to talk to them. Try to just break the ice, you know what I mean? They probably haven't talked to anybody in fucking months. And whoever they're talking to, they're probably trying to bullshit. So when I start a conversation with them, I'm like, listen, man, I've been there before. I understand what you're going through. Don't bullshit me. I know what's going on. You know what I mean? I was doing the exact same thing a couple years back. So then they end up breaking down. They tell me what's going on. They say that they're looking for drugs. They got a drug addiction. They're trying to get their shit together. And I could relate. I could completely relate to what they were talking about. Because that was me. I was there. But, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to make a quick one. All my supporters, I appreciate you guys. My podcast just dropped. It was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. I feel like I did all right. I noticed going back into it that I kind of just like wander off into my discussion, and that was driving me nuts, because I couldn't stay on one subject, and I have ADHD like nobody's business. You know, my wife tells me all the time, like, just sit down and relax. I can't. I'm always 1,000 miles an hour, bouncing around. I'm ready to go. You know, and I feel like the reason why I'm like this, like I've always been like this, but the reason why I'm like this the way I am is because for a long period of time I was like destined to be in my bed. Like that's, you know, I would go get drugs, I would get high, and I would stay in bed all day. You know what I mean? I had no purpose or goal. The only goal I had was getting drugs, and then I would go back home, I would do the drugs, and I would fall asleep. You know, and I would stay sleeping for days, depending on how much drugs I had. You know, I had no interaction with the world. It was the only interaction I had was with my bed and my movies. You know? And I just remember laying in my bed, and the same movie would just play over and over and over again, because I'd be like, oh, I want to watch this movie. I'd put it in. I would get high. I'd fall asleep and wake up pissed off that I missed the movie. So I would pop the movie back in and then doze off again. And this was repetitive. I used to have the movie 300, because that was one of my favorite movies and I wanted to watch it. I literally restarted that movie about 100 times and still haven't watched the full thing. I've watched it recently, free-minded, and it was awesome. I love that movie. But like I couldn't stay up through the whole thing because I was always dozing off and nodding out. But I just noticed that it's kind of all over the place in that podcast, and he had to keep bringing me back. He had to keep bringing me back to what we were talking about at hand. But he was awesome, and he knew that I was kind of veering off, so he would bring me back, and it was cool. I really enjoyed that. You know, I enjoyed talking on his podcast, and I'm hoping that I can get back on there. He said that we were going to make another one, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, he's awesome. He made me feel comfortable, and we're gonna make it happen again. I just had somebody reach out to me last night. I seen it this morning, and it's the recovery with no space. And he's been through drug addiction. He wants me on his channel. He wants to do a 3-part series with me. First is going to be addiction, second's going to be prison, and third's going to be recovery. And I like that. That's pretty cool. You know, people have been reaching out to me. I kind of feel a little important nowadays. You know, I feel important because I have my kids. My kids love me. They need me. My wife loves me. She needs me. You know, all of you guys always sending me positive thoughts and messages. You know, what's awesome about it is I haven't got one dislike on any of my videos. And that's cool. I know it's going to happen. I know eventually somebody's going to dislike it. But for the most part, I got awesome people in my corner. Everybody appreciates my message. And sometimes, like, I get down on myself. Like, I'm not perfect either. Sometimes, you know, like, I try to give this positive message, but sometimes I can't always be positive either, you know. Sometimes, like, I get in my negative mind states too. You know, I try to stay as positive as can be, but sometimes I get a little negative, you know, but I'm able to bring it back. I'm able to be like, I'm able to look at the bigger picture now. You know, there was no bigger picture at one point in time, but now there's a bigger picture. So I'm going to get this one out there. I appreciate you guys. You know, pretty early in the morning. I went and grabbed some coffees. My son was up all night with the cough. My wife's sleeping on the couch right now because she's exhausted. We were both up all night. He doesn't feel good. He had a fever all day yesterday. He has a fever all day so far today. We're hoping that he's feeling a little better today. You know, but his sleep pattern is horrible. And he's up so many times a night. You know, I'm exhausted. I'm trying to keep you guys entertained and tell you my struggles and my life stories and my goals and my aspirations. And I feel like I should be getting more videos out. And I'm trying. You know, I have a lot of stuff going on. And I'm trying to balance everything. Life's all about balance. And I'm just trying to balance everything. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and always watching my stuff. I really appreciate it. So you guys have a blessed day. God bless. Love all yous, man. You guys keep me on the straight and narrow for sure. You know I got a support system now. Like, I've always had a support system with my wife and the kids. But outside of that, like, I have my work, I have my routine, but this kind of brings it all together for me. You know, because a lot of this stuff I needed to get off my chest, and you guys are here to listen, and a lot of you can relate, and it's cool. So I appreciate you guys. You have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.